Hello, lovely people. Welcome to another topic with teacher Gia, and today I'm going to be tackling data collection. I want to believe each and everyone has come across this word in either their coursework, in research proposals, or projects. So let's begin. Data collection. Data collection refers to the systematic process of gathering, recording, and organizing information or observations about specific variables, phenomena, or subjects of interest. In research, business, and various fields, data collection is a fundamental step that involves gathering empirical evidence to support analysis, draw conclusions, and make informed decisions. Our next part is purpose of collecting data. In research, data collection serves several essential purposes to facilitate the investigation, analysis, and interpretation of various phenomena. Here are 6 purposes of collecting data in research.
Description. Data collection helps researchers describe and characterize the variables, concepts, or phenomena they are studying. By collecting relevant data, researchers can provide detailed and accurate accounts of the characteristics and attributes of the subject of their study. Number 2 is exploration and discovery.
Data collection allows researchers to explore new topics or areas of interest and make new discoveries. By collecting data, researchers can uncover patterns, relationships, and trends that might not have been previously known or anticipated. Explanation. Data collection contributes to explaining the relationships between variables or factors. Researchers can use collected data to analyze and determine the factors that influence outcomes, helping them establish cause and effect relationships. Prediction. Through data collection, researchers can develop models and predictive tools. By analyzing historical data, researchers can identify patterns and trends that can be used to make predictions about future events or outcomes. Verification and validation. Data collection is crucial for testing hypotheses and validating research findings. Researchers can collect data to confirm or refute existing theories, ensuring that their conclusions are based on empirical evidence. Comparison and benchmarking. Data collection enables researchers to compare different groups, situations, or time periods. This can help in benchmarking performance, assessing changes over time, and evaluating the effectiveness of interventions or policies. It's important to note that the specific purposes of data collection can vary depending on the research goals, methodology, and the nature of the study. The data collected should be relevant, reliable, and appropriately analyzed to draw meaningful conclusions and insights from the research. In research, data can be collected from various sources to support investigation, analysis, and understanding of a particular topic or question. Here are some common sources of data in research. Primary sources. Okay, I've grouped mine into 6 sources of data. And I believe we all know primary and secondary are the main 2, but I've added others. Primary sources. The first one is surveys and questionnaires. Here, researchers create structured sets of questions to gather information directly from individuals. Surveys can be conducted in person, via mail, online, or over the phone. Interviews. Researchers conduct one-on-one or group interviews to collect in-depth qualitative data from participants. The third one, observations. Here, researchers directly observe and record behaviors, events, or phenomena in real-world settings. Experiments. Control experiments are conducted to manipulate variables and observe their effects on outcomes. Field notes. Here, researchers record their observations, impressions, and reflections during fieldwork or observation. From these examples, we can say that in primary sources of data, we get to have the first-hand information. Next, we move to secondary sources. Existing databases. Researchers can use data from databases maintained by organizations, institutions, or government agencies, such as demographic data, economic indicators, or health statistics. Archival data, historical records, documents, diaries, letters, and other historical artifacts can provide valuable insights into past events and behaviors. Literature reviews, analyzing existing research papers and studies can provide secondary data and help contextualize the current research. In literature reviews here, you can go and get the past research papers that have been done that are kind of related to your topic that you want to tackle in your research proposal or project report. The third source of data is tertiary. Here we're going to talk about books and encyclopedias. While not often used directly as data sources, this can provide a background information and context for research. News articles and reports. Current news articles and reports can provide information about recent events, trends, and public opinions. Online resources such as websites, blogs, social media, and online forums can offer insights into public opinions and discussions. The fourth source of data is administrative data, official records. Here are data collected and maintained by government agencies, institutions, or organizations such as birth records, employment records, and educational records. Financial records, financial transactions, and records maintained by businesses or financial institutions. The fifth one is personal documents. We're going to talk about diaries and journals. Personal accounts can offer subjective insights into experiences and emotions. Personal correspondence, letters, emails, and other forms of personal communication can offer insights into relationships and perspectives. The last one, media sources, audiovisual materials. These can be videos, audio recordings, and images that serve as sources of qualitative data. Print media, such as newspapers, magazines, and other print materials, can provide information about events, opinions, and trends. It's important for researchers to carefully choose their data sources based on the research objectives, the type of data needed, and the reliability and credibility of the sources. Combining multiple sources of data can provide a more comprehensive understanding of the research topic and enhance the validity of the findings. And since we've dwelled much on secondary data, we're going to talk about the advantages of using secondary data. Using secondary data in research offers several advantages, making it a valuable resource for researchers. Here are some of the key advantages. We're going to talk about cost and time efficiency. Collecting primary data can be time-consuming and costly. Using existing secondary data saves time and resources since the data is already collected and available for analysis. Large sample size. Secondary data often comes from sources with large sample sizes, allowing researchers to analyze trends and patterns in a broader context. Longitudinal analysis. Some secondary data sources provide data collected over extended periods. This allows researchers to study trends and changes over time without the need for prolonged data collection. Comparative studies. Researchers can use secondary data to compare findings across different time periods, regions, or demographic groups. This facilitates cross-sectional and cross-temporal comparison. The fifth one, access to remote or inaccessible areas. Secondary data can be collected from various areas that might be difficult for a researcher to access directly, such as remote regions or sensitive environments. Historical analysis. Secondary data sources like historical documents, archives, and records allow researchers to explore past events, and behaviors, providing insights into historical context. Supplementary insights. Secondary data can complement primary data by providing additional perspectives or verifications of findings. Exploratory research. Researchers can use secondary data to conduct exploratory research and generate hypotheses for further investigation. Convenience. Secondary data is readily available, saving researchers the effort of designing and implementing data collection methods. Ethical considerations. In some cases, using secondary data avoids potential ethical concerns associated with data collection, particularly when dealing with sensitive topics or vulnerable populations. Testing and validation. Researchers can use secondary data to test or validate the findings of other studies, enhancing the reliability of research outcomes. Policy analysis. Secondary data can be useful for policy analysis and decision making, especially when examining the effects of policies or interventions over time. However, it's important to note that while secondary data has many advantages, there are also limitations. The data might not perfectly align with the research objectives. There could be issues with data quality or accuracy, and the researchers might not have control over the data collection process. It's crucial for researchers to critically assess the reliability, validity, and relevance of secondary data sources before using them in the research. Disadvantages of secondary data. Certainly, while using secondary data in research offers several advantages, there are also some disadvantages and challenges to consider. Limited control over data collection. Researchers have no control over how the data was originally collected. This can lead to concerns about data quality, measurement methods, and potential biases in the original collection process. Data relevance and applicability. Secondary data might not align perfectly with the research questions or objectives, leading to potential limitations in addressing specific aspects of the study. Data quality and accuracy. The accuracy, completeness, and reliability of secondary data sources can vary. Researchers might encounter errors, inconsistencies, or missing information that could affect the validity of the analysis. Lack of contextual information. Secondary data might lack contextual information that's crucial for understanding the data fully. Without proper context, researchers might misinterpret the data or miss important nuances. Limited variables and measures. Researchers are bound by the variables and measures available in the secondary data sources. If the desired variables are not present or if they are poorly defined, it may limit the depth of analysis. Data bias and representativeness. Secondary data sources might have biases that were present during the original data collection. These biases could affect the representativeness of the data and impact the generalizability of findings. Outdated or incomplete data. Some secondary data might be outdated, and trends or circumstances might have changed since the data was collected. Additionally, data might be incomplete due to various reasons. Limited customization. Researchers cannot customize the data collection process to suit their specific research needs, potentially leading to missed opportunities for obtaining relevant insights. Data availability and access. Access to certain secondary data sources might be restricted or require permissions. This could limit the researcher's ability to use the data. Data manipulation and aggregation. Secondary data might have been manipulated or aggregated for specific purposes, making it challenging to perform certain types of analysis or draw detailed conclusions. Conflicting definitions and units. Different sources might use varying definitions, units of measurements, or methodologies, making it difficult to compare or combine data from multiple sources. Publication bias. Published secondary data might not represent the full range of data available, as researchers often publish findings that are statistically significant or align with their hypothesis, potentially leading to skewed results. To mitigate these disadvantages, researchers should carefully assess the quality and relevance of secondary data sources, acknowledge any limitations in their research, and consider combining secondary data with primary data collection methods when possible to gain a more comprehensive understanding of a research topic. We move to steps to take before collecting data. Before embarking on the data collection phase of a research project, there are several important steps that researchers should take to ensure a well-planned and successful data collection process. Here is a guide to the steps to take before collecting data in research. Define research objectives and questions. Clearly articulate the research objectives and the specific questions you aim to address with your study. This will guide your data collection effort towards obtaining relevant information. Review existing literature. Conduct a thorough literature review to conduct what research has already been done in your field. This helps to identify gaps in knowledge and refine your research questions. Select research design and methodology. Decide on the research design, e.g., experimental, observation, survey-based, that best suits your research objectives. Choose appropriate data collection methods and techniques. Next, define variables and measurements. Clearly define the variables you will be studying and the measurements you will use to quantify or qualify them. This ensures consistency in data collection and analysis. Develop data collection instruments. If using surveys, questionnaires, interviews, or observation protocols, design these instruments carefully. Ensure that the questions are clear, unbiased, and aligned with your research goals. Pilot testing or pre-test. Before launching into full-scale data collection, conduct a pilot test of your data collection instruments on a small sample. This helps identify any issues with the instruments or the data collection process. Next, you need to determine the sample size and sampling method. Calculate the appropriate sample size based on statistical considerations and the desired level of precision. Decide on the sampling method that suits your research design, e.g. random sampling, stratified sampling, etc. Ethical considerations and permission. Address ethical concerns related to your research, including obtaining informed consent from participants and ensuring their privacy and confidentiality. If needed, seek Institutional Review Board (IRB) approval. Logistics and resources. Plan the logistical aspects of data collection, such as the location, duration, and personnel required. Ensure you have the necessary resources, including technology and materials. Data management plan. Develop a plan of how you will organize, store, and manage the collected data throughout the research process. This includes data entry, coding, and ensuring data security. Training and orientation. If data collected involves a team, provide training to ensure consistency in data collection procedures, techniques, and protocols. Data validation and quality control. Implement mechanisms to validate the collected data for accuracy and quality. This could involve double-checking your data entries and conducting periodic quality checks. Timeline and schedule. Create a detailed timeline that outlines the start and the ends of data collection, as well as milestones for each phase of the process. Contingency planning. Anticipate potential challenges that might arise during data collection and develop contingency plans to address them. Preliminary analysis plan. Outline how you plan to analyze the collected data once the data collection phase is complete. This can help guide your data collection efforts towards obtaining the necessary information. Taking the steps before starting your data collection process can help ensure that your research is well organized, ethical, and capable of generating valid and reliable results. So I'm going to go in depth in pre-test, also known as pilot test, which is a preliminary trial or small-scale version of a research study conducted before the full-scale data collection. The primary purpose of a pre-test is to test and refine your research instruments, such as surveys, questionnaires, interview protocols, and data collection procedures to identify any issues, inconsistencies, or areas for improvement before implementing the study on a large scale. Essentially, a pre-test helps you fine-tune your research design to ensure that your data collection process will be effective, accurate, and reliable. So, we're going to say the importance of pre-testing before data collection, also known as pilot testing. The first one, identifying ambiguities and confusion. Conducting a pre-test allows you to uncover any ambiguities or confusing elements in your research instruments. Participants might misinterpret questions or instructions, and a pre-test helps you to detect such issues and revise them for clarity. Assessing validity and reliability. Pretesting helps you assess the validity and reliability of your research instruments. If your instruments are not capturing the intended information accurately or consistently, you can make necessary adjustments. Testing feasibility. Pretests give you insights into the feasibility of your data collection procedures. You can determine how much time participants need to complete surveys, how smoothly interviews are conducted, or any logistical challenges that might arise. The fourth one, identifying survey or interview fatigue. Participants might experience fatigue or frustration while completing lengthy surveys or interviews. A pretest helps you gauge participant engagement and identify points where fatigue might start in. Sampling and response rate estimates. By conducting a pretest with a small sample, you can estimate the likely response rate for your full study. This information is valuable for planning data collection logistics. Testing technology and software. If your research involves online surveys or digital data collection tools, a pretest allows you to identify any technical issues or glitches that participants might encounter. Refining question wording. Pretesting lets you refine the wording of your questions. You can assess whether questions are leading, biased, or too complex for participants to answer accurately. Refining data collection protocols. For studies involving observations or experimental procedures, a pretest helps you refine the data collection protocols to ensure they are clear and consistent. Gauging participant interest. Pretesting provides insights into how interested participants are in your research topic. If participants lose interest during the pretest, you can adjust your approach to keep them engaged. Enhancing data collection. By identifying and addressing potential issues before full-scale data collection, a pretest contributes to higher data collection quality and more reliable research outcomes. Overall, conducting a pretest is a crucial step in the research process that helps you catch potential problems early, refine your research design, and improve the overall quality of your data collection. It allows you to make informed decisions before investing resources and time into the main data collection phase. We have tackled factors to consider before collecting data. Now I'm going to talk about factors to consider during data collection. The first one, collect only relevant data. Gather data that directly aligns with your research objectives to avoid collecting unnecessary or extraneous information. Inform respondents. Clearly explain the nature of your study, its purpose, and how the data will be used. Transparency builds trust and encourages honest responses. Confidentiality assurance. Emphasize that their responses will be kept confidential. Assure respondents that the information will not be linked back to them individually. Informed consent. Obtain informed consent from participants before collecting data. Clearly outline their rights, including the option to withdraw without repercussions. Control disclosure risk. Apply appropriate techniques to control the risk of unintentional disclosure, such as aggregating data or removing identifying details. Privacy protection. Ensure that data collection methods protect participant privacy, especially in sensitive topics. Avoid asking overly personal or intrusive questions. Standardized procedures. Follow standardized data collection procedures to ensure consistency and reliability across different respondents and sessions. Timely collection. Collect data in a timely manner to maintain accuracy and minimize recall bias in participants' responses. Non-biasing language. Use neutral and non-leading language in questions to prevent bias and ensure that responses accurately reflect participants' views. Participant comfort. Create a comfortable and non-threatening environment during data collection to encourage open and honest participation. Randomization. If applicable, use randomization techniques to minimize bias and ensure representativeness in sampling. Validation checks. Include validation checks in data collection instruments to identify inconsistent and inaccurate responses. Data entry verification. Double-check data entries for accuracy during the data entry process to prevent transcription errors. Cross-checking. Cross-reference data from different sources or participants to verify consistency and identify discrepancies. Documentation. Keep detailed records of data collection procedures, deviations from the plan, and any issues encountered for transparency and audit purposes. By focusing on this consideration, you can enhance the quality and reliability of the data you collect while maintaining ethical standards and participant trust. You might be asked this question: while in the field, what should a researcher ensure? So, it's more or less like factors that one should consider during the data collection, but this one we're gonna do it either way. While conducting data collection in the field, researchers should ensure a range of factors to ensure a smooth and effective data collection process. Here are some key points for researchers to consider: participant engagement and comfort. Maintain a friendly and approachable demeanor to put participants to ease and encourage their participation. Address any participant concerns promptly and courteously. Adherence to protocol. Follow the established data collection protocol precisely to ensure consistency and accuracy in data collection. Consent confirmation. Reiterate the informed consent process, reminding participants of their rights and ensuring they understand their involvement. Question clarification. Be ready to provide clarification if participants have difficulty understanding any questions or instructions. Data entry accuracy. Double check data entries for accuracy immediately after collecting data to prevent errors. Equipment maintenance. Ensure that any equipment such as recording devices or tablets is functional and properly maintained throughout the data collection process. Environmental consideration. Choose appropriate locations for data collection that are quiet, private, and free from distractions. Monitoring progress. Keep track of the progress of data collection sessions to ensure that the project is on schedule. Participant verification. Verify participant identities if necessary to ensure that the data is collected from the intended sources. Data security. Take measures to secure collected data, both physically and digitally, to prevent unauthorized access. Backup procedures. Implement backup procedures to ensure that the data is not lost in case of technical issues or equipment failure. Contingency plans. Have contingency plans ready to address unexpected issues that might arise during data collection. Avoid biases. Beware of potential biases that could arise from interactions with participants. Strive to minimize any unintended influence. Timely communication. Keep lines of communication open with your research team and participants in case of changes or updates. Participant privacy. Respect participant privacy by conducting data collection sessions in a way that prevents unauthorized individuals from overhearing. Record keeping. Maintain detailed records of each data collection session, including any notes or observations about the process. Flexibility. Be flexible and adaptable in case of any unexpected situations or changes in the field. Remember that conducting data collection in the field can sometimes present unforeseen challenges. Being well prepared, attentive, and adaptable will contribute to a successful and high quality data collection process. Informed decision making. Data analysis helps in making informed decisions. By examining data, organizations and individuals can identify trends, patterns, and relationships that guide effective choices. Identifying trends and patterns. It allows you to uncover trends and patterns in the data, which can be used to anticipate future developments and opportunities. Hypothesis testing. Data analysis provides a means to test hypotheses and theories, allowing researchers to validate or refute their assumptions. Quality improvement. In fields like manufacturing and healthcare, data analysis is used to improve product quality and patient care through identifying areas for improvement. Risk assessment and management. It helps to identify potential risks and developing strategies to mitigate them, thereby enhancing risk management. Resource optimization. By analyzing data, organizations can optimize resource allocation, leading to cost savings and improved efficiency. Performance evaluation. Data analysis is essential for evaluating the performance of individuals, teams, or the entire organization, facilitating accountability and goal achievement. Research insights. In academic research, data analysis is vital for drawing conclusions and contributing to the body of knowledge in a particular field. Policy development. Governments and policymakers use the data analysis to inform policy development, ensuring that decisions are based on evidence rather than assumptions. Pitfalls and challenges in data analysis and interpretation. Data quality issues. Poor quality data can lead to inaccurate analysis and erroneous conclusions. Incomplete, inconsistent, or biased data can skew results. Selection bias. If data is not collected in a representative manner, it can lead to biased results that do not reflect the broader population or context. Overfitting. Overfitting occurs when a model is too complex and fits the data too closely, making it perform poorly on new unseen data. Misinterpretation. Misinterpreting data can lead to incorrect conclusions. Researchers or analysts may draw unwarranted inferences due to a lack of context or statistical expertise. Ethical concerns. Ethical contributions such as privacy and consent can pose challenges in data analysis, particularly when working with sensitive or personal data. Assumptions. Many data analysis methods rely on certain assumptions about the data, and if these assumptions are violated, the results can be unreliable. Data cleaning and pre-processing. Preparing and cleaning data can be time-consuming, and errors in the stage can propagate through the analysis, leading to inaccurate results. Complexity. Sophisticated data analysis methods can be challenging to understand and implement correctly, especially for those without a strong statistical background. Data visualization. Poor data visualization can hinder communication of results. Ineffective visual representations can make it difficult for others to grasp their findings. Time and resource constraints. Adequate data analysis can be time-intensive and may require specialized software or expertise, which can be costly. Confirmation bias. Researchers may have preconceived notions or expectations, leading to them to interpret data in a way that confirms their beliefs rather than objectively analyzing it. In summary, data analysis is a powerful tool for extracting insights and informing decision making. but it must be approached with care and diligence to avoid common pitfalls and ensure that results are accurate, reliable, and ethically sound. Here now, we're going to tackle all the ethical issues in data collection. Ethical issues in data collection are critical considerations that researchers, organizations, and individuals must address to ensure that data collected is in a responsible and morally sound manner. Here are some of the key ethical issues that can arise in data collection process. Informed consent. Ethical research requires obtaining informed consent from participants. Individuals must be fully informed about the research, its purpose, how their data will be used, and any potential risks or benefits. They should have the option to participate voluntarily and withdraw at any time without repercussions. Privacy. Researchers must respect participants' privacy by safeguarding their personal information. This includes protecting sensitive data and ensuring that participants cannot be easily identified from the collected information. Confidentiality. Researchers must maintain the confidentiality of participants' data. Data should be stored securely, and any personally unidentifiable information should be removed or anonymized to prevent unauthorized access or disclosure. Data security. Ethical data collection requires implementing appropriate data security measures to protect against breaches, theft, or unauthorized access to sensitive information. Minimizing harm. Researchers should take steps to minimize any potential harm or discomfort to participants. This includes avoiding intrusive or sensitive questions and ensuring that the research does not cause psychological or physical harm. Beneficence. Researchers should strive to maximize the benefits of the research while minimizing potential harm. They should consider the potential societal, scientific, or practical benefits of the research. Avoiding deception. Researchers should avoid deceptive practices that could mislead participants or compromise their autonomy. Any deception must be justified and minimized. Conflict of interest. Researchers should disclose any conflicts of interest that could influence the research or its findings. This includes financial, personal, or professional interests that could bias the study. Respect for vulnerable populations. Special care should be taken when conducting research with vulnerable populations such as children, the elderly, individuals with cognitive impairments, or marginalized groups. Additionally, additional safeguards may be necessary to protect their rights and well-being. Data ownership and use. Researchers should clarify who owns the data and how it will be used. Participants should be informed about the data's purpose, any potential for sharing or selling data, and the intended lifespan of data retention. Transparency. Researchers should be transparent about their research methods, data collection procedures, and analytical techniques. This includes accurately reporting all results, including those that may not support their hypotheses. Respect for cultural sensitivities. Research conducted in diverse cultural settings should respect and be specific to the customs, values, and norms of the participants. These include obtaining appropriate permissions and approvals, compliance with regulations and guidelines. Researchers must adhere to relevant laws, regulations, and ethical guidelines governing research in their field or jurisdiction. This may include obtaining ethical approval from an institutional review board or ethics committee. Addressing these ethical issues is crucial to maintain the integrity of the research process, protect the rights and well-being of participants, and ensure that the research contributes positively to society. Failure to address these issues can have serious consequences, both ethically and legally. Challenges faced by researchers in data collection. Certainly, Researchers can encounter numerous challenges during the data collection process, many of which can have significant impact on the quality and validity of the collected data. Here are some common challenges researchers may face. Lack of pilot study. Not conducting a pilot study before the main data collection can lead to unanticipated problems with data collection instruments, procedures, or logistics, potentially compromising the quality of data. Insufficient follow-up. Failing to conduct adequate follow-up with participants can result in missing data or incomplete responses, reducing the completeness and accuracy of the data set. Inadequate quality controls. Without proper quality control measures, researchers may miss data entry errors, inconsistent responses, or other issues that can affect data quality. Poor tagging. Incorrectly identifying or tagging the wrong population or sample can lead to biased or unrepresentative data. Poor implementation. Errors in the implementation of data collection procedures, such as interview errors, makes an error while asking a question, for example, data entry mistakes or question wording issues, or the questions are misleading, can introduce bias or inaccuracies. Response bias. Participants may provide responses that they believe the researcher wants to hear rather than their true opinions or experiences, leading to response bias. Non-response bias. When a significant portion of the selected sample does not participate, non-response bias can occur, affecting the representativeness of the data. Sampling challenges. Difficulties in obtaining a representative sample can arise, especially in hard-to-reach populations and when sampling frames are incomplete or outdated. Ethical dilemmas. Researchers may face ethical dilemmas related to informed consent, privacy, and confidentiality, which can be challenging to navigate. Logistical issues. Challenges in data collection logistics, such as access to field sites, transportation, or equipment malfunctions, can interrupt the data collection process. Cultural and language barriers. In cross-cultural research, language and cultural differences can lead to misunderstandings, misinterpretations, or difficulties in communication. Data security concerns. Ensuring data security and protection of sensitive information can be challenging, especially in studies involving personal or confidential data. Time and resource constraints. Limited time and resources may affect the scope and scale of data collection, potentially compromising the completeness of the data. Interviewer bias. Interviewers may inadvertently introduce bias into the data through their behavior, tone, or facial expressions, affecting participant responses. Questionnaire design errors. Poorly designed survey instruments, including vague or leading questions, can result in inaccurate or unreliable data. Weather and environmental factors. Environmental conditions such as adverse weather can affect data collection efforts, especially in field research. Survey fatigue. Participants may become fatigued or disengaged during lengthy surveys, leading to incomplete or less reliable responses. To mitigate these challenges, researchers should carefully plan their data collection, conduct pilot studies, implement quality control measures, adhere to ethical guidelines, and remain flexible in adapting to unexpected issues that may arise during the process. What has a beginning definitely has an end, and we've come to the conclusion. In summary, data collection is a vital component of research, serving as the foundation upon which major findings, recommendations, and future directions are built. By adhering to relevant steps and ensuring the validity and reliability of collected data, researchers can unlock valuable insights that drive knowledge, inform decisions, and contribute to progress in their respective fields. To show me that you learned something, kindly like the video. You can share it, comment down below, and see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.